All right, for this assignment, we are going to create a clock. And then we're going to have the cat ask us what time it is based on the clock. So the first thing you'll need to do is find a clock on the internet, a clock face. So clock face images. Let me go to images. There's a good one right there. So you want to find one that does not have any hands. Okay, we just want the backdrop because we're going to make everything else. So right click, save as. Make sure that it's .jpg or PNG, either one, but I like JPG for this. That should work, so let's get rid of that. Let's close the bar. And we're going to bring that in. There we go. And turned out a little small, so let's make it, let's try 200 and go from there. Oh, we killed the cat. Oh, I just hit it in the background. That's pretty good. I'm not exactly sure. Whoops. I killed the cat that time. Now I gotta go get him. All right, see, if you accidentally delete your cat, you can always go get him again. And if you bring him in second, whatever you bring in goes on top of whatever's there. So if I click this, while I'm moving it, it's on top. But if I let it go and I select the cat, well, the cat stays on the bottom. So let's go to costumes. We're going to click on bring forward. Nope, nope, nope. All right, let's try that. Nope, it's not going to let us do that either. So let's convert it to a vector and see if that changes it. Nope. Still not letting us bring it to the front. Well, let's change the size then. Let's drop it to about 150. There we go. And I'm going to move it over so it's not on top of the cat. Poor fella. I'm going to move it up a little bit so our question will be down here. All right, so we have our backdrop. We're going to need to make the hands for the clock. There are a couple of ways we can do that. I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to use the, you could use the broom, you could use the pencil. There's a couple of other things in here you could use. I mean, you could use the guitars if you wanted to. I'm not going to be too picky, but I am going to pick this line right here. So I'm going to pick the line, and it is way too big. So let's drop it to about 50. Whoa, still way too big. 25. Let's put it so that, doggone it. Let's put it so that that's right there. It's still way too big, so let's go down to 20. 20. Why would it not go? I don't guess it'll go smaller than 36. All right, let's try our clock again and make the clock a little bigger then. So 175. And then get him off the cat. Okay. That is annoying. So I want you to see, the reason I'm not going to stop this and re-record it is because I want you to see how I figure out things, and hopefully that's how you will figure out things. So I know the line is there. It's behind the clock, and I do not want it behind the clock. I want it in front of the clock. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. Let's try moving this over here. No, the order down here doesn't matter. So if I select the clock, I'm not sure why the front, back, forward, backwards doesn't work unless that's just inside of a single image. Okay, so here's how I would figure this out. So I would go to Google and I would type in how to bring a sprite to the front, because I want it up on top in Scratch. All right, I don't really want to watch a video. Okay, so right here, somebody asking the exact same question I am, and it's on the Scratch website, so that's probably going to get. All right, so scroll to the top. We're working on a presentation every time my sprite ends up going to the back. There should be a block in the looks category that looks like this. Go to front. That one's not helpful. Okay, we want it to go to the front forever, so that makes sense. Make your own topic. Okay, that looks like the best way to do it from what I see. So let's do this and let's do this. Let's go to our code, and then we're going to put this under the cat. So make sure the cat's selected. And then I'm going to select, when the cat is clicked, and normally that's when we do our setup and stuff like that. Well, actually we need to put this on the line, don't we? So when the start flag is clicked, where does it say? There was a motion. Change, point, glide, go, nope. Nope. Is it under sensing? Nope. Control? Nope. Okay, I'm sure you're probably screaming at me, it was under such and such, but I don't remember, so I'm going to have to open the tab back up. So in case you ever close a tab and you need it opened back up, you can hold Command Shift or Control Shift and hit T to bring it back, and it'll open whatever you've closed. So under the looks category, so let's go to looks and say, think. Show. Go to front layer. Okay, so let's try that. Bingo. So now when I click on this, this goes to the front layer. And that doesn't really help me if it disappears, but let's see. So I want it to fit right there. And now that's still kind of small, so let's go in here and see if I can do anything in here. I can shrink it down this way. As a matter of fact, that's what I want to do because I need one end of it to be in the center. Okay, so I can make that back, and I can make that about 60 now. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, so I want it right there. And here's why. Because if you click on the direction tab, and I'm not sure that we've used this before, so it's a good time to show it. You click on the direction tab, you can see it's right there, and I want it to turn from the center. Now, it's not quite in the center, as you can tell. But that's what I want right there. So I'm going to move that over just a touch. It's going to go back to the front again so I can run it, and that's how we get it back. So now we know how to get it back. So if you ever have something behind something, let's put this in the backpack. And we have that little piece of script in the backpack. I'm going to clean up my backpack. So now if I ever want to use that again, it's right there. I just pull it out. Okay, close the backpack. All right, so this video doesn't get too overly long. We have 2 lines. We have a minute hand and a hour hand. So we're going to need one of each. So just to make sure I know which one is which, I'm going to name this one minute. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to name, I just named the costume. I didn't name the, oh well. So I'm going to name the second costume hour. It doesn't really change the picture, but, and I want it to be a little bit shorter, but I want it to be in the same place. So I'm going to, most of the time when you see a clock on the internet or a watch for sale or anything like that, if you've ever noticed, they seem to set it for 10 minutes after 10. I'm not sure why, unless that just gives you a good representation of the time. Okay. All right, so let's go back and look at the instructions. It says, create a display that would show a clock face. You can upload this from online or draw it yourself. Center it on the screen by putting it at X position and Y position 0, 0. So if we're going to be doing some calculations, we really should have it where they say put it. So let's change that to 0, 0 for now. And we know how to bring the cat to the front, don't we? Go to our backpack, and I'm just going to put it right there and forget about it for now. And then when I run it, the cat comes to the front and the hour hands come to the front. So I'm going to put this at position 0, 0 as well. And notice it automatically lined it up for us right there. So that's probably why they told us to do that. And then 0 and 0 again. And now we have our clock in the center. And when we go to make calculations and rotate it, we know that it's at the origin at 0, 0, and we can go from there. All right, so I want to select the cat, make sure he's selected. All right, so we have our clock, we have our hands. Now they show the hands drawn straight up. I have mine drawn at this angle. So let's change them to match theirs. So I'm going to do it just like that. And I'm going to change this one the same way. So I'm going to rotate it so that it's pointing straight up. I'm not sure if that'll affect our calculations or not, but usually when you're following a tutorial, you want to keep it as close to the tutorial as you can until you get everything working, and then you can play around and change things and see how everything works then. So let's go back and change this to be so that's the minute hand. Let's change it. I mean, you can put it wherever you want to. I'm just going to put it on 10 minutes after 10, like that. I just think that's neat. Okay. All right, so let's start looking at the code. We should have everything set up. So on our hour hand, we're going to put some code. So which one is that? That's the minute hand. That's the hour hand. So that one's going to go to the front as well, which is what we want. So we're going to broadcast a time. So when this guy receives a broadcast, so when he receives the message is going to be change time. Whoops, I think I just deleted it. So change time. And I broke it because I accidentally deleted it in the background. I got to do it again. So when I receive a message, change time. Okay, when I change the time, I want to point in the direction 90. I want to set the hour, so I need two variables. Actually, I need three variables while we're here. I need hour, minute, and time. Okay, so now I can do that. I'm going to set, we're working on the hour hand, so I need to set the hour hand to a random 1 to 12. So the clock for hours, it has 1 through 12. So I'm going to set the hour to random 1 through 12. And I am going to turn, that's under motion. We haven't used that one much. So I'm going to turn to the right 15 degrees. Now I already see a problem. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish what they've got, and then I'll show you. So I'm going to pull in the multiplication. I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to pull in the hours, and I'm going to multiply 30 times whatever hour I picked. Okay, so before we go fix our clock hands, which I know are not going to work like they're supposed to, I want to explain this piece of code. So point in direction 90. So what it's going to want to happen is it's going to want the hour hand to be pointed straight up. So let's see what it looks like when it's 90, and that's the wrong one. Nope, that's the right one. That's the hour hand. So 90. Okay, so it is. It's pointed straight up at 90, so that's fine. So it's going to pick a random number between 1 and 12, because we have 1 through 12 on the clock, and then it's going to multiply that by 30 to get the degrees to turn. And the reason it's going to multiply by 30 is because there's 360 degrees in an hour. So if we divide 360 by 12, we get 30. So if it picks 3, it's going to multiply that by 3 and get 90, and then it's going to turn from 90 more, and that's going to be 180. So that would be 3 hours, would be 3 o'clock. Okay, does that make sense? So let's hide these variables. No, let's not hide them yet. Let's run it and see what happens. So nothing's going to happen because we haven't coded to get the message. All right, so let's go to the minute hand, which is the other one, and we're going to do relatively close to the same thing. We want it when it's clicked, or when the start flag is clicked, we want it to come to the front. But when it receives the message, so when I receive the message change time, it's going to point. Where is point? It's going to point in direction 90, so it's going to reset itself. And then it's going to set the minute. It's going to set the minute to a random number between 0 and 59. There's 60 minutes or 60 minutes in an hour. We don't count the 60. When we get to the top of the hour, we go back to 0. So 0 to 59 makes 60. And then we're going to turn by minutes times, so however many minutes we have, we're going to multiply that by, see if you can think of what we need to multiply by. There's 360 degrees in an hour. If there's 60 minutes, how much is each degree? So 360 divided by 60 gives us 6. Very good. All right, so we have the code that's going to change the times. Now we need to broadcast. So when I click on the cat, I'm just going to, it doesn't really matter where he goes, but let's put him there so he's not under these. I'm going to hide these eventually, but right now, when I click on the cat, when this sprite is clicked, I want to broadcast change time. Okay, so when I click on the cat, he's going to yell change time, and then line 1 and line 2, the minute hand and the hour hand, are going to do the code that's under them. So click, we get random times. So that seems to work pretty good. So if you look at the variables up here, you can see that the hour is 5 and the minute is 2. So after 12, 1, 2. And that is perfect. So I'm gonna leave the variables there for now still. Now we're gonna have it ask all right, so we need to set this little box right here, this little time box right here. So we're gonna set the time to, and we want it to be hour minute. And it's going to look a little bit funny, but we want to join the hour and then colon and minute. So we need two joins. So we're going to join hour, colon, and I'm not going to put any spaces in this one, and you shouldn't either, and I'll explain why in a second. So it's going to be hour, colon, minute. It's going to look a little weird right here because we're not going to go into super details about how to put the zero and all that stuff. So if I click that now, I get the last thing that was there. So broadcast change time, set time, join hour, minute. Okay. All right, so it is showing the last one before it comes up. That is not what it's supposed to do. So maybe it's just running too fast. So when this sprite is clicked, it changes the time, and then it does this. So maybe it needs to pause in between. So let's put the question. In the instructions, it says to put the question after. Let's put the question before and test it. So I'm just going to leave it what is your name for now just to test it. So I'm going to click on the cat. And it still has the time from before, so I'm going to say P is my name. Pot. No, you'll laugh at that. Fred. All right. All right, so now it has time to change that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the time. I'm going to empty the time right here. I'm going to set the time to blank. And then I'm going to ask what the time is. So what time is it? And I still need this answer down here in just a minute, so just leave it hanging out there. So I'm going to set the time to blank, and then I'm going to ask what time it is, and that way it gives it a chance to catch its breath and actually read this clock instead of zipping through and reading the clock before it actually has time to move. I hope that makes sense. So this is 3:31. I'm going to say 3:31 and hit enter. Now this is not the time I typed in. Let me redo that just to show you. If I type in red monkey, it's still going to put the right time right here. Now it's not perfect. It's not perfect. That should be 6:07. Okay. And if you want to see how to put in that O, we can do that shortly. But right now, I'm just trying to get it to work. Actually, let's go ahead and do that because I don't want to teach you how to tell time if that's wrong. So let's do that. So I'm going to put in a control block. I'm going to put in an if right here, and I'm going to put this one in the bottom. And I'm going to make a copy, and I'm going to paste it. You can't paste, so you need to do duplicate, sorry. And I'm going to put one there. So you just do a duplicate and bring it down. Now, if, and where are the operators? All right, so if minute is greater than 9, which means it's going to be 10, 11, 12. It's going to be 2 digits. So if it's greater than 9, it's going to be 2 digits. This right here will work just fine. But if it's not greater than 9, in other words, if it's less than 9, then we need to add a 0 right there. So let's try that. So let's do the cat. Okay. What time is it? Doesn't matter. www, enter. We get 4:43. So let's click the cat until we get one that we can test. So www, enter. Click the cat, www, enter. Click the cat, www, enter. Trying to get a time less than 9 minutes. Okay. There we go, 4 minutes. Perfect. So now it's 4 minutes after 4. So if you notice right there, our 0 showed up. So our 0 showed up in front of the 4, and that's what we want. So the instructions do not have this block in there. They don't have the if, then, else. They only do this. So if you want it to look like it, work like it really should, I would recommend doing that. All right, so now we're going to check. It's going to ask what time it is, and then we put that before this just to make it work right, and now it's going to ask. So we need another if-then block. So if operators equals answer. So if time equals answer, then you've got it right. We need to give a message. If time is not equal to answer, so we need an if then else block. So if then else gives us the option of two things. So if then else, we can say correct or yippee or whatever you want to say. Keep it school friendly, but whatever you want to say. Or nope, sorry, that's not right for 2 seconds. Okay. So let's look at the code again real quick, just so you know what's going on. So when we click the cat, he's going to yell change time. Now, we're going to set the time to blank right here because it doesn't have time to go out and do this and come back and set the right time. So when I receive, when the minute hand receives or hears him yell change time, he's going to reset to the direction 90, which is the starting position. It's going to point straight up. And that's where you're going to find your most of your bugs at. So if you notice in the costumes for the minute hand and the hour hand, 90 degrees. So if I put it back at 90 degrees is straight up. That way the clock starts at the top. So I hope that makes sense. And then the hour hand, same thing. And then once the cat yells to change the time or broadcasts to change the time, we're going to set this box to 0 so that it doesn't have the old time in it. Then we're going to ask the question, what time is it, and wait. That's going to give us time for this time box right here to get filled in properly. Now we're going to turn these off in a few minutes to make sure that this works like it's supposed to. And then if it's less than 9 minutes, if it's a single digit, we're going to add the 0. If it's greater than 9 and it's already a double digit, we don't need to. Then we're going to check to see if the time equals the answer. If they're equal to each other, then that means we got it right. Otherwise, we got it wrong. So let's test him out. All right, so what time is it? Now, we're not supposed to look up here, and that's sort of hiding the clock. So we might need to shrink it down, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So that is 3:25. Correct. Okay, let's try again. That one's 5:31, so let's say 5:30. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not right. All right, let's try one more time. So hour hand is on the 7, big hand is on the 5, 10. If you count these little marks, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 21. So 7, 21. Correct. All right. Stop the program from running, and then we're going to go in and turn off our variables. Once you get it tested, turn off the variables. Oh, we're going to name this, what time is it? Okay. Now, I don't want to mess with the graphics too much. I know that box pops up over the bottom. Let's see how bad it looks full screen. So if I click the cat, oh, that looks much better. Yeah, in full screen it's fine. So what time is it? It's not quite 10 o'clock. So that means the hour is 9, and then colon, and then 60 minutes would be the full thing. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48. So it is 9:48 in this picture. That is not right. Why is that not right? 45, 46, 47, 48. All right, so I'm going to stop it. I'm going to click on hour. Why does it say 10? Okay, I know why. Because in a real clock, the closer the minute hand gets to the top of the hour, the closer the hour hand gets to the number. So in a real clock, that would be 9:48. But in this clock, because we're just having it point straight at the hour hand, that's wrong. So this is a bad clock. But we are done with the project, so we can submit it now. Just make sure you share it. And then when I get it, I can look inside, see what's going on, and give you feedback. Okay, that's not a perfect setup. It's very, very basic stuff. Again, for the first 5 or 6 projects, we're basically just learning how to use Scratch, how to code a little bit, and seeing some of the things we can do. The math that we're doing right now is not on our level, but it will be very, very soon.